Hello there, my fishy friends. My name is Peter, and today I'm going to review Simms boots and waders for you. So the big question is, are they worth the money? Well, I'll give you my review and you can decide. Tell you a little story first. When I first started fishing for salmon on the Vedder River, I picked up I think about a $20 or $30 pair of neoprene waders from Value Village and some used boots, and I used that stuff for about the first, I don't know, maybe like 4 years of my fishing exploration on the Vedder. So I did my first 4 years of fishing for probably about $40 on boots and waders, so that's pretty cheap. And back then I actually had kind of a very skeptical view of all these guys decked out in $500 or $600 worth of Simms gear. I thought it was quite pretentious and actually kind of a waste of money to spend all this stuff, all this money on brand name gear. But then I fished a bunch more years, and I got really passionate about salmon and just fishing in general, and I was spending, like, I don't know what I spent, probably 80 to 100 days a year fishing, and all of a sudden, $500 doesn't seem like so much money. When you're passionate about something, you want the nice stuff. So first year of COVID 2020, I picked up a slightly used pair of waders and Simms boots. So that was basically 3 years ago, and I've been wearing those, and that's what I'm wearing today. And it took me about 3 years to wear this stuff out. So that gives you kind of an idea of how long a pair of waders and boots might last. So let me show you these guys here. So these are the Simms Tributary. I think they're or Freestone? I can never remember all their brand names, but what I'm getting at is these boots are the lower end of what they make. So after 3 years and lots of use, I'm talking about miles, you can see the Vibram is worn right out. Even the studs that were in here are worn right out. Everything's worn out, and they've seen their share. If you look inside, everything's kind of coming apart, but these boots have seen a lot of river, especially steelheading. You're hiking around all the time, so I feel like these boots held up really well. So I probably did as much fishing in 3 years, the last 3 years, as most people put in about 10. Now there's also people that fish way more than me. I'm not bragging or anything, but yeah, so you can see these boots actually started sort of cracking and wearing out within about a half a year, and then those cracks just kind of stopped, and I've been wearing them ever since. And I bet you if I really tough it out, these will be good for another season before they literally start falling off my feet. But the boots are comfortable, they lasted a long time. I think I've got my money's worth out of them. Waders, kind of the same thing. I hike around a lot, put a lot of miles. It's not just standing in the river. These waders here, I climb around log jams, I bushwhack with them and everything, and they've only had a couple of little tears. I have to say, like, the fabric is really quite tough. I've had other waders where every time you sit on a log, you end up with a hole in your waders after the fact. So kudos to Simms for making a product that's comfortable and tough. And but after 3 years, they're developing more and more leaks, and what's happening is there's this seam tape on the inside here, and where the fabric folds on the edge of the seam tape, that's all worn through. So I don't know if you can see that very well in the, here, I'll hold my leg up here. So there's this white line right along the edge of the seam tape, and that's where it's starting to leak, and it's leaking there and in the crotch and everywhere. So it's time for new waders. But I've been so happy with the Simms, I am getting another pair, so that's a positive review. But yeah, all told, between boots and waders, you're looking at spending about $550 on the low end, and if you get 3 years out of fishing them, so that's roughly $200 a year just for boots and waders. It kind of adds up. You are paying for the brand a bit. Want to be one of the cool kids. I guess, you know, back then when I started fishing, I thought all these Simms guys were kind of stuck up, but, you know, maybe that was me. I wasn't the friendliest of people back then. I actually, you know, to tell you the truth, maybe I was a bit intimidated, but I did get into a bunch of confrontations and arguments back in those first days of fishing, and that was, I don't know, maybe I was just being stubborn, but we'll talk about that in another video. Let's talk about the waders. Yeah, these waders are well thought out. They are well made, but they're also quite expensive. So I don't know, hopefully this helps you out maybe in some small way to make a decision. I have been impressed enough with the Simms gear that I am buying another pair of waders and boots from them. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. See you next time.